Good morning, YouTube. Welcome into Attacking Third. Y'all, it's May 1st. I just looked at the calendar. I was like, oh, wait, holy shit, it is May 1st.
Yes.
Where did the time go? But welcome to Attacking Third. Whether you're on YouTube, on Galazzo Net, or you're listening as a pod, we thank you for joining us. Jess, McCall, my former Courage teammates, I want to know how you two met, because I met you two in 2017 when I got drafted to the Courage. But you guys have been in the league and the WPS together. So when did you guys first meet?
Man, we picked her up. We picked up McCall in the middle of the season. You're playing for Boston, I believe.
2016.
In 2016, and she came to Western New York Flash. But let me tell you about this woman. I absolutely could not stand playing against her. She was a pain in my behind my whole career. She came in 2016, and I think I was one of the first players to approach her. And I was like, yo, I'm so happy you're here because I'm sick of playing against you. And we've been like this ever since.
But it goes way back. So I grew up in California and Jess grew up in Arizona. So when our teams would win state, we'd go play against each other in youth when we were like seriously 13 years old. And I remember her on the team and I was like, that woman is bad A. Like I cannot keep up with her. Like I'm scared. Like they might beat us actually.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. 13, you were like, that woman.
She was like a woman against girls. Like she was dominant.
I was like 5'10" already.
And yeah, you were.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I love that. Okay, I love that we got some backstory. World of soccer is so small, but we're going to start the show right after this quick break. Stay with us. What up? What up? Welcome to Attacking Third. It's your girl, Darian Jenkins. I am joined by McCall Zerboni and Jess McDonald. We have a jam-packed show for you today. We're going to be talking about NWSL Week 7 look ahead. We're going to talk about the quarter mark of the NWSL, do a little stock up, stock down. That's going to be a fun segment. And then we're going to have a segment I'm going to call Let Sandra Cook later on in the show. But ladies, vibe check. How are we feeling? How are things going? It's the 1st of May. What's good?
Do you guys say this? Pinch punch first day of the month?
I've never heard that before.
You never heard that? Oh, okay.
That is cute though. I like that.
Pinch and punch them and say first day of the month.
I love it.
I love that. Jess, how are you feeling, mama? You're about to pop.
I know I'm hanging on by a thread here, you guys. But this month, I can finally say I'm going to be a mom of 3. So it's going to be nuts. And I'm so excited. Yeah. But please hurry up. Hurry.
I can't.
Come on. I'm ready.
We need to get some A3 baby merch to get your baby. I'm putting that out there. Producer Mark, giving you a shout out. Let's make this happen. Let's get a sponsor by Gerber's or something. Yeah. Just for Jess. No one else is having a baby. Mark, I like this. A3, more like J3. Ayo.
Oh, always shout out. I like that.
But let's get into the show. And for those that are listening, whether you're on YouTube, you're on Galazzo Net, or you're listening as a podcast, thank you for joining us. And if you're on YouTube, get in the chat. Let us know what you're thinking. Tell your friends to jump on and join us too. Before we get cooking today, let's give our flowers out to Chelsea because they just won their 6th title in a row. Not in total, in a row. In an incredible fashion. They played Manchester United, and Lucy Bronze came up really big in the 74th minute off of a corner from Sandy Baltimore. She puts it away, giving them the 1-0 lead. And it was a really, really competitive game. Both teams showed out, but Chelsea just showing that they're not a team that you can just walk up and overcome. They have been consistently so good. From Emma Hayes being the coach to Sonia Bonpastor, all of the adversity that they faced coming off of a big Champions League loss against Barcelona earlier this week. Must just feel so sweet to get this win and another title. They can also still win the treble. They're your WSL champions this year. They're also in the FA Cup final on May 18th against Manchester United. Do you guys feel like that they can pull off the treble this year?
Oh, I think they're just so dominant in so many ways for so long. I mean, to put this in perspective, okay, so imagine Orlando goes back to back and wins the Shield again this year, which is an already incredible feat to do. And then 4 more after that. That's what Chelsea has done in comparison. I mean, it is just insane to think about. And they still don't even have Sam Kerr back. I mean,
Right.
it's crazy to think that they're just not going to slow down. I mean, their next match is versus Tottenham on May 4th, and Tottenham is in 10th place. Like, they've got that. It's easy. But they have disparity in their league. So
Yeah, they do.
that's what's challenging and different from us. I mean, for example, so they had 54 points this year so far, which is how they clinched. But like the lowest team, which I think is, I'm pretty sure it's Palace, only has 9 points. So 54 and 9 points. Think about that.
Poor Sandra and her Crystal Palace team. Sorry, girl. I don't know if you're listening, but so we honorarily made Sandra the ride or die for Crystal Palace this year. But Chelsea, again, I think it's wild, McCall, when you put into that perspective how good this team is. That is Orlando repeating that 6 times over. You're totally right. But looking at the WSL, Jess, do you think that there's any team that could maybe challenge them more for it next year?
Ooh, I think if Arsenal gets it together a little bit, I think they could be their best challenge, in my opinion. Because, man, but you look at this Chelsea roster, boy, they got everybody that you possibly need on the team. So,
They run deep.
They run so deep, and to be this successful without Sam Kerr, one of the star strikers on this earth right now, it's absolutely insane. But I think that Arsenal might be able to squeak through. I'm a little Arsenal fan in the WSL, so crossing my fingers for Foxy and Nicewanger out there.
Yeah.
I like that shout. I'm also going to give City a special shout. I think they had a ton of injuries this last year, and maybe if they don't, they're a little more consistent. It could be a little bit more of a challenge, but we'll see. But we wanted to give a quick shout out to Chelsea Women's and give them their flowers because they're consistently just one of the best teams in the world. But let's get into NWSL right after this quick break because we got a lot to cover. Yo, welcome back to A3. Let's get into NWSL Week 7. Plenty more matches. We've got 3 matches on Friday, that being Houston Dash versus Louisville, 8 p.m. Eastern, Spirit versus Angel City, 8 p.m. Eastern as well, and Seattle Reign versus Kansas City at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. It's a late night. Saturday, we've got 2 with Portland Thorns versus Orlando at 7:30 p.m., Utah Royals versus the Courage at 10, and then Sunday, our A3 After Dark show. You want to tune into that after the last match. We've got Gotham versus Chicago Red Stars on CBS Sports at 1 p.m. and then San Diego Wave versus Bay at 8 p.m. So let's get into the first match. Gotham FC, they're in 4th place right now versus Chicago, 14th place. That's going to be this Sunday, CBS at 1 p.m. Eastern. Tune in. You'll see some familiar faces on the coverage. And don't forget to tune in for A3 After Dark after the 8 p.m. match. But let's talk with Chicago. Because big news yesterday. They fire Lorne Donaldson. Didn't have a lot of time with this team. There was a lot of turnover, new management. All around Chicago just seems like there's a lot of turmoil. Every single year, unfortunately, it just seems like there's a lot going on. Let's just get into Lorne Donaldson, though. Did Chicago make the right move, McCall, in letting him go and bringing an interim to just try to bide them time to find a great coach?
Yes and no. Yes, they made the right decision to let him go. I think he had enough time to prove what he was trying to do, and it didn't work out, so it's not a good fit. None of his players were in form. I think that's a huge indication of how the coaching is going and how the training sessions are going. None of the players have reached their potential yet or look sharp this year. But no, my no is because who they chose to take over the helm. I know it's just an interim, but I really would have loved to see Ella Masser get that nod and get that tip to take over the helm for a little while. And this is what we need in this country. It's a perfect opportunity. She's been coaching with Chicago since 23, and this is give her a little example and taste of what it's like to be a head coach. And even if it's not permanent, she still has that experience and she understands the difference when you are moved from assistant to head, which can be so valuable.
It really could, but I had a very good conversation with Ella. So I'm actually wondering if this was her choice to not be head coach.
Oh,
I had my own podcast last year and I had Ella on. And I wanted to interview working moms basically in the soccer world. And I asked her because they were looking for a new head coach. And at the time when I asked her this, like, how do you feel about becoming head coach, next season for Chicago? She was like, no, I'm not ready, because she was having her second child. She wants to do the family thing and then she wants to get more experience. So I actually wonder if they approached her to be the interim head coach. So I don't know. I'm not sure if they were just like, Masaki, you're it, and that's it. But I know just a year ago, she was not having it as head coach. But I have to agree with you, McCall. I think this was the right time to let Lorne Donaldson know he had plenty of time at this point. He's been a coach for almost a year for them. And you just don't see an identity. They look tired. And I think that he had enough time this offseason and enough time this preseason to instill something in this team. And, most games, we know football very well. You're watching a team and it's like, oh, I see what you're trying to do. You just ain't executing. Or I see what you're trying to do and you're executing. But Chicago had neither one. And so with that being said, like it's just been so hard to watch them because it's just not fun to watch them. And so I hope with Masaki coming in, he's able to instill something, just some sort of identity, because now at this point, they're the underdogs, man. Now they could fight with that underdog mentality. Heck, it's possible. McCall, we did it in 2016. NWSL wrote us off. We were in dead last, you guys. They voted Western New York Flash last. We're a bunch of nobodies. But we took that underdog mentality and ended up winning the final that year. But obviously the competition's way different now. There's more teams, etc. But it's possible to win. It's possible to turn things around and see what you can do moving forward. So I want Chicago just to do better. I have friends on the team. I'm like, come on, y'all. I'm emotionally invested.
Well, it makes you wonder if they put all their eggs in one basket in Mal, right? Like she totally carried them last year. And then the fact that she hasn't been able to join the team yet this year. And now you're wondering, maybe she'll come back now. Maybe she and Lorne didn't have a similar understanding. And now that someone else is going to be taking over, maybe she's more apt to come join the team. So we'll see what kind of changes come to Chicago.
I'm just wondering, you both think Lorne had enough time. I don't get me wrong. I agree about the style of play. I want to see at least the idea or the theory of what you're trying to do, which sometimes it was, let's kick the ball long. Let's try to turn teams around. Do we really have the players to just play like that? No. And he even said last year, to be frank, I don't have the players that I need to play the style of play. But I still don't think a year is just enough time. There's so many things that are locked away that I think we, the public, don't know, that limits maybe moves to acquiring players and whatever that means. I mean, they've had big front office changes that have changed in ownership. Who knows what that really looks like? So I wish we would have seen maybe until the end of this year. But then the player in me is also like, yeah, we need to change. From a playing perspective for the two of you, because we've all played in this league, and I've had one coach that was fired mid-season, but I was also like, yay, give us somebody new. But from a player's perspective, how do you guys think that Chicago are handling this, and they have a big match against Gotham this weekend? Like, how do you even approach going into a game like that?
It either revamps you and gives you a new energy and you're like, all right, let's go. Like, let's change our identity now. We're making changes. Let's put a good shift in. Or you're looking around and you're thinking, oh gosh, are we about to crumble down? Are the pieces about to just fall? And so it's two sides that can happen when you switch coaches during midseason. I've had it happen to me a couple times, and it's you have two choices. Like, okay, the cards are falling. Something's wrong with the club. We have issues. Or, okay, renewed energy. Let's get after this.
And that's exactly it. Point taken on that one, because I've had it happen to me a couple times as well. In mid-season, it was like, yay, okay, new coach, let's see what we can do. And we actually did better throughout the season. But then the second time it happened, it was like, dang, I really like this person as a coach, and then it kind of went downhill from there. So, I mean, it's got its pros and cons. Obviously, it's going to be something positive or it's going to be something negative. And sometimes it can be a total mental, hard situation for you as a player because, mentally you have to be tuned in. But when you have something drastic happen in your career, someone you looked up to and someone who is trying to help you develop as a player, basically, and that's something that you depend on at the pro level, and they're gone. It's like, okay, this sucks. And so, but then there can be a coach who doesn't do that. And so it's like, okay, yay, we're looking on the bright side here. Hopefully someone better. And so,
yes. And also every coach has their players. I know they don't like to admit it, but they do.
Yeah, so everyone has favorites.
Maybe you were in favor and then this new coach comes in and you're not. And that's a difficult transition for a player that was always getting selected.
Exactly.
I'm wondering too, who do you guys think needs to step up? I mean, when you don't have a coach and there's all this changeover and you're trying to not, when you're a player, you're trying to not let all of that outside noise affect what you do as soon as you step on the pitch. You're trying to be together. You're trying to shut all of that out. And you know what? Hey, it's us versus everybody. It's everybody against us. So let's focus in. Who do you think the player is on Chicago that's maybe the one having to say that, having to turn the team around? I'm looking at an Alyssa Nair and a Carrie Riccaro. To me, those are two players, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to say yes and listen to whatever you have to say to lead this team.
I definitely agree. It's got to come from your veterans at this point because it's the veterans who have been through ups and downs. They've been through similar situations like this. It's like, okay, it's about us. It's about this locker room. LFG, we ain't got nothing to lose at this point. Literally, Chicago ain't got nothing to lose. And so I think players like that, I can definitely see them stepping up. And Sam Staub as well. They have plenty of experience. And those are the players I'm going to be listening to. Like, oh, yes, captain, let's go. We're going to do this together.
Yeah. And that's why I think this matchup coming up against Gotham is exciting, right? Because we don't know what new Chicago we're going to see, which is a question mark for an opponent, which could make Gotham a little nervous. But also Gotham has been very up and down in their performances. So we don't know which Gotham we're going to get on the day either. So that's why this matchup, everyone should really keep an eye on it because we just don't know what's going to happen. I know that Gotham's in a much higher place than them, but based on their performances, it could be neck and neck if Chicago comes out with a renewed mentality.
You never know, especially in the NWSL.
Yeah, there's question marks. We need that meme where it's the guy like, and there's question marks all over his head. Yeah, exactly. But I'm wondering, switching over to Gotham now, I mean, they have Esther, which in its own right is just a superpower on your team. She's scoring goals. She's scoring 1. She's scoring 2. She's on a goal scoring streak. And not just the way she scores goals, the way that she helps the team build, I think, is incredibly effective. I mean, you're looking at a team like Chicago. They're a little disorganized, not sure of the game plan. It's hard to get together. You're playing away from home. Is there any way that Chicago can hurt Gotham? And yeah, McCall, you said that they've been inconsistent, but you also played for this team. So I'm wondering, if you're a Chicago player, how are you looking at Gotham at home and thinking, well, here's some of the weaknesses that we can exploit?
Well, I'm going to start with Chicago center back. So Kara has been playing in the center back next to Sam Staub, and I do think that is a good partnership, and they're both experienced in this league. So they have experience playing against some of the top goal scorers in the world that come to this league. And yeah, I like it better when Carrie's in the back and not in the midfield. So Maitane kind of plugging that gap in front of the back line that Esther really likes to take advantage of. And her wisdom and knowing her player, they're friends. Yep. They played on Spain together. She knows her strengths and her weaknesses. And then with Carrie and Sam next to each other, just kind of plugging those opportunities that Esther can exploit.
I definitely agree. Esther, she's cooking right now, but I agree with Carrie's position because when she was playing in the 6 this season, she just wasn't getting the ball enough. And so I think between her and Sam Staub, they're going to be able to distribute a little bit better, but they're going to have their hands full with Esther. This is one of the most dynamic strikers right now who is on fire, and that's so hard to stop in the game. So I think they're going to have a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah, I'm looking at Maitane. The chat was asking who the leader in the midfield is for Chicago. I'm going to go with Maitane. McCall, I agree with you. She's familiar with Esther. They are teammates in Spain. They're teammates. for Gotham and now opponents. When you know somebody's tendencies, I mean, you two have played against each other numerous times. Jess, we were talking beforehand, and you knew McCall was a menace in the midfield to play against, and you were like, thank God she's my teammate now with the courage. But to me, Maytani is that player that I think can control the tempo. She's incredibly smart. I think her positioning is really good. Her building out with Carey being able to play those balls through is going to help Chicago. On the flip side, if you're Gotham, knowing that Chicago, all the stuff that we're talking about with Chicago, are you just keeping your game plan the same going into this game? You're not changing anything. You're just, you know what? We're not going to change our plan. We're just going to ride with how we've been approaching it. McCall, what do you think?
Juan Carlos doesn't change his game plan very much. So the Gotham we know is the Gotham we're going to see. And so I think what that does is that puts a lot of weight on personal performances for the day. So it's who's going to rise above. Is Esther going to have a brilliant day again? And, someone like Shupansky, a rookie to a rookie goal from real, like we have to have those edge in performance that will really lift them to the victory.
Yeah, and if
all
it
right,
ain't
ladies,
broke, don't fix it. Gotham's doing all right.
What's our prediction for this match? What do you guys think? Jess, you go first.
Okay, I'm rooting for Ludmila because she was just outstanding against Bay FC. So I'm gonna say a couple of goals from her. I think she's gonna be a handful for Emily Sonnet in the middle, and that's gonna be a great matchup. So I'm gonna go with and Esther's on fire already. So I'm gonna say 2-2.
Oh, you're going to a tie. Yeah. Okay. I like that.
You get a goal, you get a goal, you get a goal.
I'm going to say Gotham's going to win by 2 goals. They just have way more goal scorer opportunities and personnel on their squad, whereas Chicago is really dried up in that goal scoring area. They don't have a lot of individuals that are consistently scoring, whereas Gotham is kind of sharing that load alongside Esther as well, that a lot of people can score. So 2-0 deficit.
Ooh, okay. I'm going 3-1 Gotham. I think they're right in that 3-goal wave. But Jess, I love the Ludmila shout. I think her and Jamise Joseph have a really good connection. So I'm going to give Chicago 1. You need a little bit of hope when things are bad.
Yes,
but don't forget, tune into that match on Sunday at 1 p.m. on CBS, and you'll see some familiar faces talking about the game. Another game that is on Paramount Plus and Golazo at 8 p.m. Eastern, San Diego Wave versus Bay. I don't know about you guys. Bienvenue San Diego. The French on San Diego are killing it. And I've been loving the way that they play. And I want to ask you guys, were you surprised with all of the turnover that San Diego had, all the drama that San Diego had this last year, the offseason, the players leaving, that they're this good under Jonas Eidevall? Jess, are you shocked?
Man, completely. I'm not even gonna lie. I wrote this team off completely in preseason.
Me too.
I'm looking at that roster. I'm like, what?
Really?
Why do they have so many teenagers? What are they gonna do? What's going on in their front office? I thought they were going to turn to Chicago this season. I truly did, but they shut me up because they have been so much fun to watch. The way that they build, and then Cascarino. Oh my goodness, hats off, sis. They're killing it. Oh
She's so fun to watch.
She's so fun.
McCall, were you surprised? You seem surprised that Jess and I were surprised.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. Just with their player movement and acquisition in the offseason, I knew they were serious about their business. Like, they went and got so much experience. So their roster, yes, they have young players as well, which help with that flair and that energy. But look at how much experience with Dali, Cascarino, like on the international stage, been playing pro for so many years. Even in McCaskill, she's been so good. And it's all about that experience that's anchoring them so then they can go have that creativity when they go forward that at times looks like poetry when they're in their attack. It is. And so they understand the game so well because they have experience and high soccer IQ. And that's why they were able to find their fluidity so quickly.
Yeah, I agree. I love watching it. They have this very European style of play where they're moving the ball well. You're seeing the best out of Barcenas finally getting a goal. You're seeing McCaskill, who I think when she was with LA, and we didn't see the best out of her. I feel like we lost her identity of what makes her a special player. And now we're seeing that again. She's next to Dali in the midfield. And I mean, I'm just loving watching them play. San Diego, I think, is going to playoffs for me. I'm saying it early. I think that they're going to make a really big run this year. But they are facing Bay, who's a team that, to me, I want to know if you guys feel different. they drop to the level of whoever they're playing. They drop or rise to the level, I should say. It's kind of one of those teams where, are you gonna tie again? Are you only gonna win by one? Are you still just relying on Kundananji? Do you guys feel that they're a team that drops level to whoever they're playing to, Jess?
I definitely do, because you see their potential. I think they're a great team. I thought they were last year too. But even when they go down in a game, it was really hard to watch them play against Washington Spirit this season. And they got spanked, because as soon as Washington Spirit scored their first goal, it was like they dropped a level. It's either they drop a level or, they don't quite pick their game up at all in games. And so I'm like, dang, bae, like y'all got it. Just where can we find this spark to keep it going? Who can be the game changer if we go down 1-0, or who's going to be the game changer when we're tied 0-0, And I love Kiki Pickett in the middle, because she can score bangers, but that hasn't even been enough, because she can score a banger and then a team will come back and you're like, dang, y'all did all that, So yeah, bae, they're fun to watch, but it irks me when they drop a level and they get in the middle of the game. It's like, y'all been doing so well. Like, this is part of the game, How can you turn that switch off and just keep it going?
They seem emotional. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
They're just up and down emotionally. Sometimes they want to put it on, sometimes they're not in the mood. And I think a lot of that has to do with their front six is actually quite young. So I think they're kind of still finding how to put a 90-minute game together, not only individually, but amongst themselves as well. Because their back line is anchored. They're so good, with Abigail Kemper and Caprice and everybody that has experience. I'm not worried about their back line. It's that their front six and then in their attack is just very wishy-washy, inconsistent.
Does that emotional aspect come from the players themselves, or does that come from the management side?
I haven't been in their environment. I don't know. But I think, the coach of Bay, he's been there. Albertine even coached the WPS league. He's been coaching in this game for so long. And so he's very consistent and experienced as well. So I'm just going to have to put that on the players, that the inconsistency that they're showing, because I think he's a consistent coach.
Well, Jen, I've had him, and I love him as a coach.
Yeah.
I hadn't had professionally. I've had him in youth national team stuff. We were all reminiscing about youth national team stuff. Stay tuned for a segment between Jess McCall and I'm going to say Lo and I when we talk about that. But back to Bay, I think Albertine's a great coach. But when we were talking to Jen Beatty, we brought up that it just seems like they can't score, yet they have all of this big attacking power that are known. They've notoriety for being goal scorers, but it's just a lack of chemistry, is what she said. And I'm looking at this like they've had enough time to build chemistry. So McCall, for you, who do you think you need to see maybe build more chemistry with? Is it Kundananji and Oshawa? Is it Rachel Hill and Oshawa? What does that chemistry look like?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think we've seen the best of Oshawa this season yet. She wasn't even starting in the beginning of the matches this year. I don't know if she's out of form or we're still waiting for her to get back into that flow with her new teammates. And also Tess Bodie is still kind of in and out and injured. And I think she creates something really different in their attack. When she runs with the ball, she offsets the opponent and imbalances them so easy, which ends up making other people open in better positions higher up the field. So I think they're really missing her.
Yeah.
Jess, what about you?
Man, Bodie's such a huge part of this team. But I think that Kundananji, she's still finding that partnership up top. She puts in so much hard work. We see her getting in the final third dang near every time she gets the ball. She's getting in the final third. But sometimes it's her decision making. Sometimes I notice that she should shoot when she crosses. She crosses when she should shoot, etc. And I think that after this Seattle Reign game, it showed. It's like, okay, she's got it. This is what she can do. And then she had the same play again after that goal, the same exact setup. And then she chose to cross it to nobody. And I'm like, sis, you just shoot it again, And so I think it's just, she sets herself up to, get in these pockets of space to be successful, she puts in all the hard work, and it makes it hard for herself a lot of times. And so once she finds that consistency and someone who can, first of all, keep up with her, secondly, combine with her in that final third, Tess Bodie, she's so good at just threading the needle. And I think once she's back, then some pieces of the puzzle will come together. But I don't think Rachel Hill is one of those players, because she came in as a game changer. She has some chances in front of the goal, and I'm like, I don't think that's a partnership that's going to come together. But I think once Oshuala finds her front foot in the NWSL, because I think she's still struggling a little bit in this league. She's struggling a little bit, because Barcelona, she came from Barcelona, scoring a heck of goals. And then she comes to the NWSL, where the game is completely different. We got athleticism, we've got speed, we've got technical, we got everything. Whereas Barcelona, they're the big dogs in their league, where they can possess. They possess like as soon as they get in front of goal, they're still ticky-tacky in front of goal, and then little tap-ins, and they make it look easy. But at the end of the day, I think that Dorian Bailey is a good one too. But Kundananji, I think she's going to be that player that's going to have to step up her game.
Kundananji, the player we're all watching, San Diego Wave versus Bay FC, Sunday, Paramount Plus at 8 p.m. You don't want to miss it. You know what else you don't want to miss? This next segment, because we're going to be doing stock up, stock down. We've got some fun people we're talking about, so stay tuned after this quick break. Welcome back. Okay, the really fun segment of the day. We are doing the NWSL quarter mark, stock up, stock down. And first off, we're going to start with players, stock up. And McCall Zerboni, who do you got your eye on that has just impressed you this first quarter of the NWSL season?
So I think I'm actually going to start stock down so we can end on a positive note.
Okay.
My stock down is Maggie Graham. Only because she started so bright, had 2 goals in her first 2 matches. She was looking to be in the running of Rookie of the Year, was doing so great. But then lately, I feel like she's just been running around an abyss, a little bit lost out there. Fabrice has talked about how she's a Swiss Army knife. But the problem with that is then you don't let her hone in on one position where she can be super effective and train in the unit with the players around her. You're kind of just giving her too many tasks and too many jobs, where if you just pinpoint her best place, let her train in there, get more reps in there in the games, then she'll explode more. But I think right now she's just having to do too many jobs on too many different days.
Oh, that's a good choice, man. I hate saying my stock down player, because this was at the beginning of this show, our very first episode, I had to pick my midfielder of the year, and she's just not it right now. And this is who I picked, and it was Jaedyn Shaw. I think she's my stock down player for club and country. She just hasn't quite found her footing yet this year. I think her game's gone down a little bit, and I don't know if it's due to training environment, maybe something's going on outside the field, but I don't know if it's because of the way Courage is playing her. Sometimes she's in her natural position. She's playing that false 9. I'm like, this is not her position. She's a natural 10. And I think that this young woman, I want to continue to see her succeed. She's got it. We've seen what she can do in the past, but she has just dropped a level. And I know she's only 20 years old, but she knows she's the face of, one of the faces of U.S. soccer, one of the faces of Courage. And, just carrying that chip on your shoulder would make you a big dog. But, 0 goals, 0 assists in 6 matches. It's only a matter of time.
Pressure?
Maybe.
Really?
But pressure's a privilege, man. Let's go. Yeah. Use it as fuel. I don't know.
Yes, I wonder, you're so familiar with the Courage and the way that they run things. Do you think maybe it's a difference of her just being presented with a lot of new challenges because of the style, because of the system, the demands of Shauna and the way that they train, that maybe we're just seeing her like have a big learning curve in her career right now? Do you think that attributes to it?
I definitely think so, because what you bring with your club is what you're going to carry over into the international level. And we see the same with her with club and country. And it's like, okay, her game has dropped a little bit. And I don't think that so far her personality has meshed well with this courage side. So it's got to be the training environment, because she just looks so reserved, just so reserved. And so it's been tough to watch, but I'm such a big fan of hers. And I'm like, oh, come on, sis, let's do this, please. But it's only a matter of time when things get started for her.
I was going to say, I think it's mental. She just needs the time. I think it's a mental thing, which when you hear those stats, like 0 goals, 0 assists as an attacker, it's like, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? But it's gonna come. When she gets one, I think it's just she's gonna find her flow again. So putting that out there for her. I am going with Christen Press from Angel City, not because of her play. It's because we haven't seen her play. To me, I have so many question marks with Angel City. When Alyssa Thompson went down, Giselle Thompson was pushed up top. And I'm scratching my curls thinking, you have Christen freaking Press on the bench. Even if she can only play 45 minutes, let the girl play 45 and then make the adjustments.
Let her cook.
We need to see her. We need to see her get minutes again on the field. Let her find her flow. So to me, it's, yes, Christen Press, but it's kind of Angel City's coaching staff, because I'm like, we need to see more of her. And Sam Lady actually came out and said, yeah, it was a mistake. I should bring her in more into the match, because she's only played, Jess, I think you said 46 minutes total in the season so far.
Mm-hmm.
The legend Christen Press.
Christen Press.
I mean, come on. That one's crazy.
Even if she slowed down a notch, it's still clocking a very high speed, and her wisdom on the field.
Yes.
It really is difficult to keep up with her, because she is so smart the way that she runs. And if not creating a goal for herself, she'll create more for the others around her.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And the leadership, they have such a young team. Bring in a leader. Even if she can't do what she used to do, which that just comes with being injured for a long time. She'll get back to it, but just give her a chance. Give her the chance.
We want to see her cook.
Yes. Okay, ladies, let's hop over to stock up player. McCall, we're just gonna have you going first on these. Let us know your stock up on the positive side of things.
Esther, the Spanish sensation Gonzalez.
Ooh.
Up. Just when we thought that she is one of the best players we've ever seen, somehow she ticked it up a whole nother notch. I mean, 7 goals in 7 games. And despite that, remove that tangible, goal scorer. What she does for every moment within the game is you can't take your eyes off of it. She's perfect. She can hold up play, even though she's not a very large player. She's just so smart the way she gets her body there and the touches that she makes. She can hold up play to let other players link around her with her back to goal. She's also very good facing the goal, 1v1. She can score with her head, score with her feet. She does it all. And she works her butt off defensively as well. The way she initiates that press for Gotham really makes the other team cough up so many balls. You'll see they'll pick up a lot of easy balls in the final third on giveaways, because she's so smart the way that she's pressing their center backs. I'm so happy for her. And you guys, you don't even know the stuff she can do in training. She does that stuff every day, all the time. She is truly incredible.
McCall, you and Esther kind of remind me of each other, because you're one of the smallest players on the pitch. Jess and I are giants. Jess and I are huge. And especially when I look at games now, I'm like, how tall is that girl? She's 5'10". She's my height. I looked like that when I played. Yeah. Jesus.
No, Lo and I talked about that. We're we're small, so you got to play big. People are she plays rough. I'm like, well, hello. We kind of have to.
But Esther, I'm like, you're one of the smallest players on the pitch. And yes, all of these mental, technical, tactical attributes, but physically, she gets on the end of nearly every header. Every single one. I'm like, yeah, the girl, why are we not bodying? The tallest person needs to be on.
How was she wide open on that corner kick last week? How are you not marking Esther in the box on a corner kick?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, she takes up a lot of space, and I love it. Sorry, Jess, you cook. Let us know who your stock up is.
Yeah, I'm so impressed with Esther. I saw online not long ago someone called her Esterminator, and I'm like, yes. That's it. Oh my gosh.
Mass hysteria.
Yeah.
I
love it.
This is amazing.
Oh man. But my stock up player, because I had the honor of playing winger at the end of my playing career. I got to go with Cascarino, boy. Oh my goodness, that girl's been cooking. She's honestly so much fun to watch. Something is always happening when she has the ball at her feet. I'm watching the game, and then as soon as the ball gets to Cascarino, I'm like, the edge of my seat. What you about to do, girl? What are you about to do? She's about to cook up in the pot, whip something up good, because I mean, 2 goals, 3 assists in 6 games for San Diego Wave. I'm like, yeah, she's it right now for Wave right now, because she's just been so consistent. And my goodness, she's got speed, she's got skill, she can shoot from distance. She's got the whole package for a winger, because she sets her teammates up as well. And it's been so impressive watching her this season.
Yeah, I love it. I played against her in France, and it was like, oh, damn. Like, she is just going to slice everybody up. And then coming to the NWSL, she's almost in like 4th gear where everyone else is in 3rd. Like, she just goes. So I love that shout. I am going to go a defender, actually. I'm actually going to go a defender, and I'm going to give a shout out to Rebecca Bernal as my stock up, because she's coming into this league late. It's a really big move. We were wondering, is she going to play the 6? Is she going to be a center back? Homie, she's playing both, and she is looking so good. And I think she's made Tara Mickion and Esme Morgan look better when she's on the pitch, because I had a lot of question marks about Washington Spirit's defense. But to me, the biggest change is having Bernal back there, and you need a big hitter, somebody that's not afraid to get physical, and also she can dribble out of the back. And that is something that I think Washington Spirit has needed, and it's really helped them amongst all of their injuries. Okay, let's hop over to honorable mentions. Let's do stock down first. I like that, McCall. Just rapid fire. What is your stock down? And give us a quick little 1-2 sentence as to why.
Well, so I gave Maggie Graham as my stock down, but so my honorable mention is Sam Staub. Watching a player like that come back from injury, a gnarly injury, by the way, you guys, that usually takes at least a year. And she came back so quickly, like within 7 months, and she's already getting starts.
Crazy.
Like, to get back into form that quickly, good enough to start on your team and anchor that back line after a serious injury like that, I have to give her mad props.
That's such a good one. Oh my goodness. My stock up honorable mention would have to be San Diego Wave. I totally judged this team in preseason, and I didn't think that they were going to cook this year. But at the end of the day, they're doing pretty darn good. So well done, San Diego Wave.
Yes, I second that. I also had my doubts. My stock up is the internationals and the NWSL balling out. One, I love how diverse this league is. And I think at every phase, whether it's rookie, veteran, what have it, the internationals are kind of carrying this league forward right now. And I think they're making everybody around them better. So I love that. All right. Last but not least, stock down. I will go first. 3-game weeks. No more of that. We all know how exhausting that is to play 3 games in 1 week. The US is massive. The amount you have to travel to play away from home like that. I'm just thinking of Gotham, 2 games on the West Coast, 1 game on the East Coast, all away from home. It's crazy. It's not good for your health. So let's schedule better. Let's schedule this better. No more 3-game weeks.
Yeah, and when you start adding pointless tournaments, that's what they have to do. They play on a Tuesday because Portland and Gotham are both in, the Liga MX continued on, which is just more games that they have to play more than other teams. But my stock down is enough with the forced rivalries. I feel like we're just pulling them out of everywhere now. Like, they will create on their own, and they also will fade away on their own. Like, for example, you guys were Courage girlies, right? Like, we know that our rival was Portland at the time. So Courage and Portland, we were rivals. That's not the case anymore. So they do fade away, but they also create on their own. We don't need to force it just because they're like regional neighbors, or, it's been a little spicy the last couple of times they play. It takes time for rivalries to evolve. So let's just give it a little more time.
McCall's like, stop trying to make fetch happen.
Yes.
That's so fetch. Stop. No. Oh, I love it. Oh my goodness. Okay, stock down. This is gonna turn the table a little bit, because I think that the hiring of ex-NWSL players hasn't worked quite yet. I think that we need to have a better system in the United States to have these American players who want to become coaches get more experience as a head coach, because the least amount of experience that a lot of these American coaches have had, the least successful that they have been in this league. And so that's my stock down honorable mention. Obviously, I want to see them succeed, but at the end of the day, it hasn't worked. And I think experience and setting these coaches up for success is something that our system needs to do for these head coaches if they're going to jump into such a big role in this league, because we're in a big cage filled with lions here, and some have been thrown under the fire. So I think at the end of the day, our system needs to set these coaches up for success and give them a longer coaching experience before hiring.
Yeah, I like that. As players, we need that runway, and coaches do too. So that was a great shout. Everybody, that was Stock Up, Stock Down. Ladies, that was really fun. But we've got more fun coming with our girl Sandra Herrera next. We're going to let Sandra cook, so stay with us. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to Attacking Third. Like I said, we are going to let Sandra cook. Let's welcome in the OG member of Attacking Third, Sandra Herrera. Sandra, you'll be so happy to know I gave Bernal my stock up in the last segment. I was thinking of you and everybody in the chat that yells at me anytime I don't bring up Bernal.
I was in the background. I was waiting in the little our virtual green room, and I was like, "Yes, D, go off! I love it. I love to hear it. Love to see it." How's it going, gang?
Oh, we're good.
We are
man.
good. We're good. We're so happy you joined us. But Sandra, you're here to teach us all and enlighten us about the Associated Press Sports Editors Commission meetings that took place on Monday in New York. So Sandra, we need you to explain this to us like you're my grandma Peggy's best friend Carol. What is this? What does it mean? What did you get from it?
I should have worn my best like uncle hat, like just like drop it down and break it down. But yeah, no, look, the commissioners meetings are just that. The Associated Press Sports Editors, they host a sort of a 2-day conference, somewhat annually, to kind of gather all the commissioners, and they get the opportunity to kind of be in front of so many of these editors and other media members to kind of exchange ideas, share info, and the biggest thing, ask questions as well. And NWSL, to their credit, hadn't always been part of these before in the past. So some credit to Jessica Berman there and making sure that she has a seat at that table, and is in around these, other folks who are making decisions and speaking on other sports leagues. But she got asked a number of questions, and for those of us who are kind of tapped into the space, and maybe it wasn't so many new things or surprises or things like that. She got asked about Boston and their, part 1 launch versus part 2 launch, and there's not a lot of new things there. But some of the interesting things that were touched on were obviously the news of the D2, or the possibility of a future D2 NWSL league. And I think something of particular interest, because it is also right around the corner, was potential overlap between NWSL and the 2026 Men's World Cup. She has been no stranger. The league has been no stranger to talking about and noting some of these particular bumps that they want to make sure that they are a part of during these major events. And it's no secret that there's going to be 4 major international tournaments that take place in the Western Hemisphere over the next decade. The 27 World Cup is going to be in Brazil. The 28 Olympics are going to be in Los Angeles. And then on the horizon, the United States is pretty well positioned at this point to host that 2031 World Cup. So how and why is a 26 Men's World Cup one of these drumbeats being referred to as a league? Because it is going to be a major marquee event in the United States. You're going to want to have some sort of role within that, even if it might not be a direct correlation. There is overlap. It is the sport of soccer, a World Cup in the United States. So what does that mean? What does that look like for the NWSL? And it sounds like they're actually still trying to figure out the gradual plan for that moving forward. How is it going to, how are they not only going to utilize this sort of bump and make sure that people are also remembering women's soccer in the United States during the 26 World Cup, but how is that actually going to directly affect NWSL clubs and markets as well? We're not that far away from 2026 as a new year, and we're also not that far away from 2026 as a World Cup making its way next summer.
So Sandra, my automatic concern already is the venues, right? So these teams, NWSL teams, use a certain venue for their home games. Now with the World Cup and the Olympics coming, you could have potentially 4 teams and the D2, the NWSL D2. So now you could potentially have 4 teams trying to use the same venue. And not only is that incredibly hard for the groundskeepers to keep nice grass, but also just scheduling. And so what might happen is now the women's teams are going to be kicked off or have to be moved, or whether it's their training pitch or their playing grounds for matches. So I just don't, that's nerve-wracking to me how they're going to try to organize all that. Did they lead into any of that at all?
And I think that's totally fair, because I think it's a valid concern, because I think part of that concern comes with the fact that this is such an epic tournament. It is the World Cup. And so you obviously need so many moving parts to make sure that it goes off with a hitch. And part of that means, like you alluded to, facilities. And in fairness to Berman, being asked about this, she gently reminded media members that before she came into NWSL, she wasn't someone who came from a soccer background. So naturally, thinking about a 26 World Cup, the concept was easy. It was like, okay, yeah, of course we're going to have a role. Of course we're going to play. The NWSL is going to play games during a men's World Cup. Why wouldn't they? And of course, there's that concern in all of the planning stages around facilities. The soccer infrastructure in this country looks the way that it does. It is not as vast or as big as maybe some other pro sports leagues. And how is the NWSL going to tackle that? And Berman alluded to that. They don't want this particular moment where there's the feeling of like, hey, like you're just taking over all of our building, which I thought was a little bit of a funny quote as well, because unfortunately the other side of that coin is that there aren't a lot of NWSL specific owned facilities in this country either. The fact that we can rattle them off on one hand, maybe 3 fingers, I think also really says a lot. So they want to try to make sure that the league is playing during this time. Perhaps maybe it'll be at a gradual place. And there's a lot of information out there around some of the planning for this 26 World Cup already. It really just last November, FIFA unveiled a list of possible future team home base sites, because it's not just about getting international teams and their staffs to the United States to play some games. They're coming for a very long time. They're going to have home bases where they can go ahead and train and operate. And so if you're joining us live, you get to see this really cool image. There are white bubbles here that are notifying actual host cities. The red bubbles notify host cities that already are going to have those team-based camps. But then there's all these green bubbles across the United States that kind of show that there are just candidate cities. They're going to kind of narrow those things down now that the draw kind of took place in December of 2025. And you can kind of see what some of the overlap exists or doesn't exist in some of this map for NWSL. So we don't see Portland too much on this match. We really don't even see Salt Lake City on here as well, another NWSL market, while you do see a lot of others like Kansas City or Los Angeles or Houston specifically, or one of those green bubbles in Orlando, who was a maybe, and now they're looking like, hey, there's a lot of soccer infrastructure here between a men and a women's club side. Maybe this could be a candidate team-based city as well. So I think there will be concerns in that as well, because we always hear so much about the strides that this league wants to make. Even for teams in this league that don't have their own purpose-built training facilities are still trying to celebrate wins where they can get them. You have Chicago Stars players celebrating the fact that for like the first time in their franchise history that they're getting access to AM trainings at their facilities, right? And so like this is something where you're just kind of like, well, you don't want to see that really taken away from them in 2020, in 2026, even though Chicago is not a market, one of those markets that's not going to be active in that 2026 host city conversation. So I think there's still a lot of moving parts here, but I think the urgency is starting to kick in a little bit as 2025 continues to kind of fly by us and 2026 approaches sooner. So I would maybe try to say that for now, there's going to be continued conversations around how that particular summer window is going to look for NWSL teams moving forward. So maybe it's going to look like a slower pace of games. Maybe it will look like some of these teams might have extended homesteads. You know, we're not even talking about Denver entering this league in 2026, and they are not on this list of 26 training camps either. So it's definitely TBD.
TBD, and I can't wait for more info. I mean, I'm also thinking about Division 2 coming next year and what that also means. But Sandra, I'm sure you're going to talk about more of it on Attacking Third. And Sandra, we're so happy we got to see your beautiful face and enlighten us about everything going on in the footy world. So shout out to Sandra. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you very soon on A3. Ladies, that was our show. This has been fun. I love this. It's a big, big moment for us, reunited on Attacking Third, now in the media space. I love to see it. But don't forget, to all of the listeners, if you're tuning in on CBS Golazo on the pod or listening on live on YouTube, we have Gotham for Chicago at 1 p.m. Eastern this Sunday on CBS Sports, and also Bay and San Diego at 8 p.m. And then there will be the A3 After Dark show as soon as that match ends. You want to tune in. You'll see some more familiar faces. We'll discuss major takeaways and give you our best 11 from the week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. From McCall, Jess, Mark, I'm Darian Jenkins. This was Attacking Third.